of speakers in the past. And we are now seeing the role of the governor in Rajasthan. Yesterday at a cabinet meeting, the cabinet decided to call for a session on Monday. A communication was made to the governor, was sent to the governor to call the house on Monday. There is no response of the governor till date. There is a dharna now in the governor's house for the governor to take a decision. He's not yet taken a decision. So if governors are not going to act on the aid and advice of the ministers, then what's going to happen to that definition to democracy? We've seen the conduct of governors in Uttarakhand. We've seen the conduct of governors in other states. And the new definition of democracy is that even if an elected government is in power, obviously there'll be some people, because not everybody can get what he wants. So some people who are somewhat unhappy will be weaned away through persuasion of all sorts. And money power plays a very important role, as well as other attractions. And then they are taken away, taken on a chartered flight, flown to another city, put up in a hotel. They go incommunicado. They're not allowed to meet members of their own party. For whatever reason, they're not allowed to communicate. And in that situation, you try and bring down a government, because you get then enough people by virtue of all kinds of persuasions to ensure that the government becomes a minority. What happened in Madhya Pradesh is for all to see, that everybody was taken to Karnataka and see what happened. And even at a time when Corona was there, despite that, the fact of the matter is that when the chief minister said that, all right, we'll call a session on the 26th, it was not allowed. And then, of course, the government fell on March 17. We saw what happened in Uttarakhand and how the government fell there, and how president's rule was imposed there, and how people were taken again on a flight. We saw how the governor acted in Karnataka. We saw how in Maharashtra, president rule was revoked at early hours of the morning, and oath was administered on a person and made a chief minister and a deputy chief minister, when everybody knew, the governor knew, that they had no support of the majority. So governors are no longer protectors of the constitution and the laws. They are the protectors of the powers that be at the center. This is the new definition of democracy. If there is any dissent, then you arrest that person. You impose UAPA, or you file a case of sedition against him. And elected people who have been at the helm of powers, who have been ex-chief ministers of states, are put in prison. There's a chief minister who's been kept in prison in Bihar for just how many years? And there is no point, there's no chance of getting bail. And the other very sad situation that has arisen, that I have never seen in the past in my 45 years, that constitution bench judgments are not being followed by high courts. We know for a fact that there is a 5-judge decision of the Supreme Court of India, which says that if a disqualification petition is filed, the speaker will decide that disqualification petition, and his decision can be challenged in a court of law. But prior to his decision, proceedings by the speaker are proceedings within the House under Article 212 of the Constitution, if it applies to state assemblies, and Article 112 of the Constitution if it applies to Parliament. Those proceedings cannot be interfered with. That is the decision in Kyoto Holohan as far back as 1992. And in this particular case, in Rajasthan, there is a status quo order passed this morning, saying that those proceedings will not go on, in the teeth of Kyoto Holohan. And then what happens? This is, I mean, you are trying to create a situation where constitutional authorities' hands are being tied by virtue of court orders against the orders of the Supreme Court of India. So should lawyers now just give up? Maybe it's time for us to just take off our robes and say, forget it. Why practice in a court of law? Precedent has no value. Judgments of courts have no value. Then what are we left with? And we are given lectures about democracy on a daily basis. And I've told you the true color of democracy in India today. How many people, how many young students have been arrested for protesting against the government and the government's policies without violence? How many young people are being persecuted and prosecuted under sedition, under 124A of the Penal Code, under UAPA? How many political activists are being proceeded with? Thinkers, professors, writers are being proceeded with. People of eminence are being proceeded in under sedition laws. That's the new definition of democracy in this country. So if Parliament is not going to hold its sittings in accordance with the law, if procedures in Parliament are not in accordance with the procedures of the House, and without debate and without notice, bills are going to be passed. If money bills, if ordinary bills are treated as money bills, not allowed for discussion in Rajya Sabha, then why have this charade? You might as well forget it. And if courts are not going to follow judgments of Supreme Court, then why have this charade? Then what are we here for? And if people are going to be prosecuted in this fashion, people are going to be either incarcerated under the Public Safety Act, or young people are going to be prosecuted because they speak against the government, then obviously the message is that if you speak against us, we'll take action against you. You know, the action can be in the form of raids. The action can be in the form of proceedings under NIA or proceedings by the income tax or by CBI. All kinds of machinations are being used. And this is what democracy has come down to. Well, that's very unfortunate. I think people of this country should wake up and see what's happening in front of their eyes. And as far as जहां तक सचिन पायलट जी का सवाल है, मैं आज इस मंच से उनको कुछ याद दिलाना चाहता हूं और आपके द्वारा देश की जनता को भी बताना चाहता हूं कि पायलट साहब 23-24 साल के थे, पॉलिटिक्स में आए और 2003 में मेरा ख्याल आए और 2004 में उन्होंने इलेक्शन लड़े, पार्लियामेंट मेंबर बन गए, कांग्रेस पार्टी ने टिकट दिया। 2004 से लेकर 2009 तक वो पार्लियामेंट के मेंबर थे। 2009 में 30 साल की कम उम्र में उनको मंत्री बना दिया। मेरे मंत्रालय में काम करते थे, 5 साल मंत्री रहे, 2014 में हार गए। उसके बाद जब चुनाव हुए, राजस्थान असेंबली के चुनाव हुए, तो डिप्टी चीफ मिनिस्टर बना दिया गया। उनके पास शायद कोई 5-6 पोर्टफोलियो थे। तो चाहते क्या हैं सचिन पायलट साहब? मैं पूछना चाहता हूं, आप मुख्यमंत्री बनना चाहते हो तो बताइए, कुछ और चाहते हो तो वो बताइए। विरोध किस बात का है? हरियाणा में क्यों जाके बैठे हुए हो? और अगर आप कहते हो कि आप कांग्रेस में हैं और हम आपकी बात मानते हैं, तो कांग्रेस की मीटिंग में क्यों नहीं आते? अगर आप कहते हो कि कांग्रेस से हम बाहर नहीं गए, हम बीजेपी को ज्वाइन नहीं करना चाहते, तो हरियाणा में क्यों बैठे हो? आप कांग्रेस की मीटिंग में आके जो बुलाई जाती है, 2 मीटिंग बुलाई गई 13 जुलाई को और 14 जुलाई को, आप आए क्यों नहीं? बात क्यों नहीं अपनी रखी? और अगर आपको कोई और तकलीफ है तो बताइए। आपके मन में क्या बात है, ये तो हमें बताइए। आप चाहते क्या हैं? इतनी छोटी उम्र में आपको इतना कुछ शायद ही किसी को मिला होगा इस देश में। इतनी छोटी उम्र में कांग्रेस पार्टी में तो शायद ही किसी को मिला होगा। तो हम पूछना चाहते हैं कि आप और क्या चाहते हो? और अगर भाजपा को ज्वाइन ही करना चाहते हो तो बता दीजिए, और अगर आप एक अपना दल बनाना चाहते हो तो वो भी बता दीजिए। हमें बताइए तो सही, देश की जनता को बताइए तो सही कि आपके साथ क्या अन्याय हो रहा है। हमें मालूम है कि आप चीफ मिनिस्टर बनना चाहते थे। अब आप खुद ही कहते हैं कि आपके साथ 20 हैं हो सकता है कहते हैं कि आपके 30 हो जाएं। तो कांग्रेस पार्टी की संख्या राजस्थान असेंबली में तो 100 से ज्यादा है। तो 20-25 लोग होने से आप मुख्यमंत्री कैसे बन सकते हो? और अगर कोई और आपकी और कोई बात है तो हमें बताइए, लेकिन खुलेआम जनता को बताइए। बिन बोले होटल में बैठ के चुप होकर तो काम नहीं चलेगा ना। I just want to mention a few facts. Sachin Pilot, a good friend of mine, fought his first election at a very young age in 2004. He came into politics in 2003. And he became a member of parliament at a very young age. 2004 to 2009, he was a member of parliament. 2009, the UPA came to power. He was made a minister. He was a minister in my ministry, in telecom. Then he lost the 2014 election. And he became a minister when he was not yet 30 or maybe just 30. Then he lost the election in 2014, or maybe just above 30. Then he lost the election. Then came the Rajasthan election. Then he was made the deputy chief minister. He had about 5-6 portfolios with him. Now I want to know from my good friend, what is it that you want now? You can't be a chief minister with 20-25 people. In any case, you can't be chief minister, because the total strength of the Congress party in Rajasthan is much more than 100. So you can't be chief minister. You've got 5-6 portfolios. If there is any other grievance, you let us know. At least tell the people of this country. What is this dissent that you're talking about? Dissent about what? And if you are not happy with the functioning of a particular person, you should tell us. We'll talk about it. And then why are you sort of in another state which doesn't belong to you, of which you are not a member of the Legislative Assembly? Or why have you taken your people there, whoever are supporting you? Why have you made all your people in your constituency and nearby constituency resign from all the posts? What is it that you want to say? Is it just flexing muscles? What is it? At least put your grievances to us. And if you say you don't want to join the BJP and we believe you, and if that's the case, and you are still a congressman, as you say, then why don't you attend Congress meetings and air your views, whatever you want to air? Or is it that you have already made up your mind and already have a deal with somebody on this? I don't know. But at least you should make it open, as I am asking these questions openly from you. I have nothing against you as a person, but I am a little intrigued, and the party is a little intrigued at your actions. And we hope that you realize that this is not the way a member of a party can, in the process of airing his views, make the party a tamasha before the public. That's not good for the party, not good for you, not good for anybody. And it serves the government in power and the party in power. That's all that it does. I'm sure that's not your intention. I'm sure that's not what you want to do, because you say you're still a congressman. And if you're a congressman, why you should belittle the party in this fashion is something that I cannot understand. So you should be open about it. This is most unfortunate what is happening in this country. The next government, there'll be other elected governments. And I am telling all my colleagues in politics who are in position because they have been elected to power, this is going to slowly happen in each state in this country. And ultimately, the true definition of democracy, according to this party, the BJP and the country, is that you accept what we say and participate in that national effort to agree with what we say. And that's the meaning of democracy. Democracy doesn't mean dissent, sir. No longer. And if all institutions are going to follow the ruler, then I'm sorry, it's a very sad day of this country. What all institutions must follow is the rule of law. That's what's important. And I hope and pray that everyone realizes that the Constitution is supreme. No man, no institution other than the Constitution and the rule of law is supreme. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
Thank you, sir. I think while you were speaking, वो स्पीच में ईडी ने समन जारी किया है पेमेंट होटल के मालिक को. उन्होंने कोई लोन लिया था उस संबंध में. So it goes on to establish what you're saying.
This is the new definition of, ये तो लोकतंत्र की नई परिभाषा है ना.
जी sir, I'll take questions. The first request is from Sunil Prabhu from NDTV. Sunil ji, please ask your question.